Liam, cracking game to look forward to. Livy, absolutely the form team in the division outside of Rangers, and a great test. But you've also proved in recent weeks you're really getting back into your St Johnstone groove.
No, absolutely. I think the way Livingston have performed over the last 14 games is incredible, and the way they've performed in the league for the last couple of seasons. So it's no surprise that they go on this run. I think sometimes they get labelled a certain way of playing, but I think that's unfair. They've got a lot of good players within their squad, and he's shown over the last few weeks, he can still rotate the squad at Livingston, and you've got quality coming in as well. So it's going to be a difficult game, but one we're looking forward to, and we've shown as well that rotations and formation changes. We've got a good squad that can adapt to different scenarios as well.
Obviously, it was a huge blow, him limping out during the game midweek. But how devastating would it be for Murray if he wasn't able to be fit to be selected for the cup final?
It would be horrendous for any player. Obviously, I've been close with us for many years now, and the disappointment of missing the Scottish Cup final through injury, to miss the League Cup would be devastating for him and the club, because he is someone that deserves this opportunity. And not only that, the form he's shown in the last for a number of years now, but especially over the last month, 6 weeks, is and his performance in the semi-final as well just epitomises what him and St Johnstone are all about. So it would be a huge blow, but he's not been ruled out yet, and until he is, we'll remain positive, and hopefully he's back sooner rather than later.
In terms of the way that St Johnstone are performing, I was saying to Callum the other day, Guy Melamed coming in just seems to have lifted a wee bit. He's added a bit more and brought the kind of front players, whoever they are, whether it's Stevie or Chris and so on. It really lifted the kind of variety of chances and options you've got up front now.
No, it does, and he's a different type. I think he showed that with his goal against Kilmarnock last weekend. In and around the 6-yard box, looking for stuff to break, and more of a poacher, if you like. But again, he's added a different dimension to us, and it took him a wee while to obviously settle. It's tough leaving Israel and coming over here, and with the current restrictions, it's hard to get a spirit, if you like, and get involved with each other. But he's shown, he's worked hard. He's always done that from day one, and he's shown how determined he is to be successful here. And delighted for him, because he is great about the place, and he's shown what a top player he is over the last few games. And he's just added to what was already a good strike force, and he's added to that. And again, as I say, the manager's made formation changes, personnel changes, and it hasn't affected the team because we've got a squad that believes in what we're doing and trusts each other.
Let's look at the Rangers game. It was a narrow defeat, but you ran them very close, runaway leaders, champions elect, and you can surely take a lot of positives from that as a team, as a group.
No, obviously disappointed to lose a game, but you're going to Ibrox, where I think they've only lost one goal in the league this year. They don't give much away, but we took confidence for the last two performances against them as well. And the other night, it's going to be difficult. They're going to have a lot of the ball. They're going to create opportunities, which they did. And when you play good teams, you've got to be fortunate at times. And there was times in the first half, maybe through poor finishing from them, that we got a wee bit lucky. But as long as we remain in the game, we know we've got players that can hurt them. And, especially the last 25, 30 minutes, we showed that we've got enough about us to go and compete. But the main thing is staying in the game, because if you start how we finished, at times you could be 3 or 4-0 down before half time and the game's done. So, no, a lot of positives to take from it, and we'll hopefully take that into the game tomorrow and get a better result than what we did the other night.
Yeah, many people are looking on Livy as being something of a kind of surprise package. I mean, how do you see it? The way that they've been this last few months, really.
No, as I said earlier, they've got a lot of top players in their team. Holty as well, that was here last year. A top midfielder. And it's definitely no surprise that he's going there and playing well week in, week out. And you've got Marvin Bartley, who, just a leader. You see how much he brings to it as well. And you've got people that want to work hard, but sometimes I think that's all that people see. They don't see the quality within the squad as well. And you don't go 14 games unbeaten in the Premier League if you've not got that quality. So we're under no illusions how difficult it's going to be. But at the same time, we have got a lot of players in our squad that can hurt Livingston as well. So defensively, we need to be solid and we need to be ruthless when we're attacking at the other end as well. And we can't afford to start how we probably started last week in terms of going two goals down. Because as great as it was, the character shown for the players, it is difficult to do that week in, week out. But again, we take a lot of positives for the fact we did it.
Yeah, Livingston seemed to very successfully come up with a really good, potent formula, kind of weaving silk and steel together, if you like. And you could argue with some justification that that's what your gaffer is doing at St Johnstone. There's a really good kind of promising balance to the squad, isn't there?
No, absolutely. And, just speaking from, our point of view, the manager hasn't been scared to change formation, not been scared to change personnel. The League Cups gave us the opportunity to do that. And the good thing is the players have all responded to it. And, that's why it makes it easier for, like myself, the other night, who's not played that many games lately, but because I've played in League Cup games and the manager's rotated the squad, it's easy to come in and your fitness levels and your level of performance is still at a standard that's required to go and compete in this league. And the same goes for Jason Kerr when he was out and Sean Rooney had to fill in at centre back. It's just seamless. And Brownie comes in the other night and very good debut, taking over for where Danny McNamara left in January. So the manager's shown the trust and belief in the players, and I think we're seeing that in our performances. And now we want to finish the league as strong as possible, and we want to win a cup. And it wouldn't be a bad season, first season for the manager and his first job as manager.
No, absolutely. Some may see this as a chance for St Johnstone to lay down a bit of a marker for the cup final. I know it's very different games, different atmosphere, different venue, etc. But is it a chance to lay down a bit of a marker? Like if you beat Livingston, you may plant a seed of doubt in their minds. Are you thinking along those ways at all?
No, I think psychologically it might help, but as you say there, it is a totally different game, a totally different pitch at the end of the month. We've lost 2 games to Livingston this season, and we'll look at how we lost, or we have looked at how we've lost 8 games and how we can rectify that. But certainly if we win tomorrow, we'll not be going into the cup final any more confident or any less confident. And likewise, if we get beat, and one of the reasons we've been successful at St Johnstone over the years is because we don't get too excited when we win games, and we don't get too despondent when we lose games. You just take each one as it comes. I know that sounds boring, if you like, but it is the way it has to be, because a lot can change between now and the end of the month in terms of personnel and in terms of form. If we get beat off Livingston in the morning and beat Celtic next week, it's not going to make us any less or more confident, if you like.
Yeah, just finally for me, Liam, Livy have shown how quickly a team can move up the table by stringing a few wins together. There will surely be similar optimism in the St Johnstone camp that you're not going to be down in your position for long. You can soon charge up that table.
No, that's it. And the only way you can do that is by winning games. And too many times this season we've maybe drew games we should have won and lost games that we should have got a point out of. But again, the character the boys showed last week against Kilmarnock, 2-0 down, come out and win the game 3-2. We're showing the right fight, and we're mixing it up when we have to fight or when it's time to play football as well. So it's been refreshing to see that side of us over the last few weeks. And no, listen, the camp's confident, we're in good spirits, and we're looking forward to the games ahead. And the more we win, the more confidence will build, especially going into the cup final.
In Scotland, obviously, the way that things work out, obviously, the amount of times that you play one another, this is the 3rd occasion, as you said, that St Johnstone have come up against Livingston, and the 4th time will come around, obviously, at the end of the month. Do you feel that the number of times that you're playing the same opposition, it gives you a much better understanding of the teams that you're playing, or do you think it adds to nullifying each other out?
No, I think you quickly realise who you're playing against and what way they can play and what way they could change to when we in the game. The fact we've not beaten Livingston this year, we want to put that right. But no, it is what it is. The fact that we're playing them a fourth time is because the two of us are in a cup final, so that's something to look forward to and something to be excited about. And I'd like to play them a fifth time because that would probably mean that we're in the top six as well. No, listen, it is what it is, and we've just got to take each game as it comes. We've got a huge month ahead of us in February, and if we want to have a successful season, games like tomorrow are games we want to go and win to enhance our chances at being in the top six. And obviously, if we can beat them at the end of the month, it'll be a League Cup win as well. So, as I say, hopefully we'll play them a fifth time this year, and it'll be in the top six as well.
Again, with St Johnstone, you have obviously a very mixed group of players, some with youth, some with more experience. Livingston, very, very much the same. So, I mean, the build-up you have, it's very much a team thing. There's no individual superstars in either team. Does that make it a more entertaining game, do you feel, that you have two teams who are basically, just going to get up and go for it?
No, I think so. Both teams will believe they can win the game. And there is a lot of experience in both squads, but there is a lot of good players as well. And as I said earlier, at St Johnstone for many years, we got labelled a long ball team or this, that, and the other, and it took away from the quality and the ability within the squad. And sometimes I see people talking about Livingston like that as well, and I think it's very unfair. You look at boys like Holtley and Pittman, Robinson up front, Mullen out wide. A lot of good players within this. Craig Sibbald, another one. I was fortunate enough to watch Craig closely at Falkirk for many years as well, and a top player with loads of ability. So, I think both teams have got a lot of good players, but I think in both squads you've got a lot of winners. And in the Livingston squad, none bigger than Big Marvin Bartley in the middle of the park, someone I've played a lot against and gotten to know well over the last couple of years especially. And it is going to be difficult, but one that both teams will be looking forward to. But as I said earlier, I don't think it will have too much of an impact in the game coming at the end of the month.
And the last one from me about the trip tomorrow to Livingston. The pitch there has been sometimes open to criticism about the standard of the surface. Do you feel that when you go there, sometimes the players that are playing on it week in, week out, training on it, doing it, do you think that they have a great advantage over knowing what the bounce is going to be like, what the skid's going to be like, etc. from that? And do you think that gives them a much better advantage than the teams that are coming?
No, listen, I've said my piece on Astro pitches over the last couple of years. Look at last week's game. We're 2-0 down at half-time and come back and win 3-2. So regardless of performance and result tomorrow, we'll not be using any excuses. We'll be going there, try to win the game. And as I say, I think we have got players within this squad that can go there and do that.
Just picking up something you discussed lightheartedly at the start of the press conference. Obviously, you've just turned 34. I was just wondering, and again, it's not particularly an original question, but what keeps driving you on to keep playing?
Right now, it gets me out the house during lockdown. But no, listen, what drives me on every day is the fact that I love it. I was lucky enough to go full time at 16 down at Ipswich, and from that first day in, I went full time. I knew it would never be my attitude or my enthusiasm or my desire to be successful that would let me down. And even at 34, I've still got the qualities, and I think that's why I'm still in the game. And now coming into training and watching boys, like Alex Ferguson, Ali McCann, Jason Kerr, that I seen coming through the youth team and into the first team as young players. It's brilliant coming in and working with them and seeing their careers develop and hopefully go and develop even further. I was speaking to Darnell Fisher last week, someone that was on loan here 4 or 5 years ago, just signed for Middlesbrough, and talking about his move. And he was telling me how much he loved it here. And it's brilliant for players. And as you get older, you maybe think about it a wee bit more, that you've had a positive impact on these players when they're at the club. And you've had an impression on them, and they've gone and been successful. And it's the same as Danny McNamara just now. You look at him and you see him playing week in, week out at Millwall, but it's his move here and that's really helped him and propelled him onto that stage. And I speak to players that I've maybe stopped playing now, or I've went part-time. Chris Miller, another one I spoke to just this week, and he was saying how much he missed it and how much he loved being about the boys. And I think it's St Johnstone, we touched on it earlier, the St Johnstone squad and the Livingston squad, there's just a real togetherness. And when you can go and achieve stuff like we have, and we've been successful at St Johnstone, you want to just go and achieve more. And probably speak more about it towards the end of the month. But now this group of players has got an opportunity to go and be successful and win the League Cup and have their bit of success in the club's history. And certainly now that's what's driving me on, and that's what I want to be a part of. And I just want to keep playing as long as I can. And certainly when I come on the other night at Ibrox and you're playing in those environments, those stadiums, you just want more of it. And for speaking to people that have retired, you're a long time retired, so I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. And hopefully there'll be a League Cup trophy and a few more success stories before I retire.
Are you wanting to hold on to? I mean, you obviously say you want to play as long as you can. Do you want to retire when the fans are back in the stadium, so you can have a nice send off rather than what it is now, I suppose?
I don't know. Some of them shout some bad things at me at times, so maybe it's better if they're not here. But no, listen, that would be ideal. But if the opportunity is here to keep playing, then absolutely I'll keep playing. But I've said in the past as well, if the right opportunity came up to move on to coaching or management or anything out with football, I feel it's right for me and my career moving forward. I'm not scared of doing that at all. I've spoken in the past about having no regrets in football, which I've not. I've played over 500 games. I've loved every minute of it. And if I stop playing tomorrow, then so be it. I look back with a lot of good memories. But while I'm still playing and putting the boots on, I want to make more memories. And as I say, hopefully there's a few more this season.